Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Spotify Top 5 Listen Through. As someone who claims to love music, I think it's my duty to keep up on what the popular stuff is, not necessarily to enjoy it, but just to know what it is. This week, there was some interesting stuff. And for anyone interested, my band Crusade will be doing a little mini tour through Florida from January 5th to January 8th. Come see us if you're around. We have some stops in Tampa, Jacksonville, Orlando, and then maybe one more date that we're not 100% sure yet, but I will keep you guys updated. Check the link in the description for details. We would absolutely love to see you there. Come to the show, enjoy some metal, buy some merch, come say hi to us. Again, that is Florida, January 5th through January 8th. Link in the description. Well, let's get into it. All right, first up we have Unholy with Sam Smith and Kim Petras. First thing I'm hearing, that's an interesting way to mix backing vocals. They have this weird kind of distorted, diffused fucking reverb. It also has like a super quick delay on it, like a really pronounced sharp reverberance. It's pretty cool. I like it. Also the na 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 na, that whole melody is kind of interesting. Very reminiscent of a lot of Hebrew music. Then that old-fashioned sci-fi-esque bass stab, okay. The reverse verb's pretty cool. Gives a really unsettling feeling, especially with that vocal delivery. I'm assuming that's Kim Petras, but I don't know for sure. The only thing I dislike, and this is a personal taste, that side stick snare combined with like a clap sound, they like blend it together so you don't know exactly what it is. I'm so over that sound. That sound to me feels very contrived, but I mean, I guess it's some people's style.
Lucky, lucky girl. She got married to a boy like you. She'd kick you out if she ever knew about all the you tell me that you do.
That's a clever way of censoring a swear word. The little ding. Yeah, Sam's vocal delivery is in. It's got some good attitude, very expressive, very emotive. It's a good use of hooks. I just wish there was a little more elegance to the melody. I feel like a lot of the hip hop and electronic influence on melody has greatly reduced variety, which I don't necessarily love. It can be cool, but to get that all the time is kind of eh. It exaggerates the sensation of when they do these intervallic leaps, like the na, that whole business there gets exaggerated when everything else has so many unison notes back to back, right? I get the function and the effect, but I'm just really over it. That's actually a really cool vibrato. I want to listen to that again.
Dirty, dirty boy. You know everyone is talking on the scene. I hear them whispering.
Yeah, it's a really good vocal performance.
And how you don't know how to keep your business clean.
I also never need to hear that ever again. That like ding, 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 whatever the fuck that thing is. Never need to hear that again. Yeah, the backing vocals are great. Especially going in and out of like that regular harsh verb I was talking about and then a reverse verb coming into some of the phrases. It's a really cool effect. It's very unsettling in an effective way. Yeah, I gotta say the production on this is fabulous. I mean, obviously it's a really good mix, but they chose their timbres and blended their timbres very, very, very well. The arrangement is spot on. I mean, is it musically complex? No, not in the fucking slightest. But I gotta say the sound design is excellent. Yeah, if I also never hear the that type of thing, that's also just been done a million times. Man, the actual creativity of pop is really, really sad right now. I mean, the fact that even just a melody approaching a different mode is that refreshing to most people. It's like, oh my God, it's so different. It's like, God bless America. You change one tiny thing, but then do all of the other cliches, and it's supposed to be groundbreaking. God bless. I mean, I'm exaggerating here, but you know what I mean.
Something unholy.
Daddy, daddy, if you wanna drop the attic, give me love, give me Fendi, my Balenciaga daddy.
Okay, she has a good vocal performance. These lyrics are hands down the cringiest, shittiest thing I've heard in a fucking long time. Like almost as bad as Cardi B lyrics. Just horrible, vacuous, barely surface level, just zero meaning. I did some reading. Apparently she does a lot of improv and then they'll go back later and like work out the fine details. But the basis of the idea is improv. I can appreciate that. There's some good intuition on it, for lack of a better term, but holy God, it's just really naggy.
You gonna need to bag it up, 'cause I'm spending on Rodeo. You can wish me back it up, I'll be gone in the AM. And he got me Prada, get me Mew Mew like Rihanna.
Yeah, just all of the like how many buzzwords can we shove into one sentence? How many buzzwords can I rhyme back to back? That's how you know I'm fucking cool. I'm hip. I'm with it, everyone. Oh my God, I love Rihanna. I wish I was like Rihanna. Gucci, that's a thing that I should buy because other people told me I should buy it. All the cool people have Gucci, or was it Prada? I don't fucking know. Like the point stands. Emotionally speaking, this is strictly carnal. Not that that's inherently a terrible thing, but it's not even looking at it in an interesting or self-reflective way. It's just, I'm going to blanketly self-absorb, and not even look at the detail of it. Just how much can I consume? Yeah, I'm really, that's hands down the most gross part of the whole track to me. Anyway, I'll give it some credit for trying to go outside the box, especially in such a very constrained culture as pop music. But I mean, it's fine, I guess. It's not as annoying as a lot of other pop. All right, next up we got Anti-Hero by Taylor Swift. Let's take a listen. Mega subdued percussion here. Like beyond just filtering, like they just mellowed everything out.
I have this thing where I get older, but just never wiser.
This is hands down the most elegant melody on the okay, except for one that's coming up, but that also doesn't count because that's a very old song. Of the new releases on here, this is easily the most elegant melody. It has the most complexity, for lack of a better term. It is a very good vocal performance, and I feel like they relaxed on the production a little bit, especially I'm guessing on some of the compression and some of the coloring tools that they would use for vocals in order to let a little bit more of the real performance come out, which is kind of cool.
Nights become my afternoons. When my depression works the graveyard shift, all of the people I've ghosted stand there.
It's all very drenched in verb, except for the drive drums.
Should not be left to my own devices. They come with prices and vices. I end up.
I get the hook here in the pre-chorus. I don't particularly like it. It feels weird and a little shoehorned, but I mean, if some people like it, that's fine. I'm not saying it's bad. It just feels awkward to me.
In crisis.
The na 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 na. It definitely reminds me of some pop punk.
Hi, I'm the problem, it's me. At tea time,
Nice rhythm.
I'll stare directly at the sun, but never in the mirror. It must be exhausting, always rooting for the anti-hero.
I'll grant her a little leeway with the weird emphases on certain parts of sentences because I still think it has a very natural musicality to how she kind of twisted things on its head a little bit as far as cadence. It is a very rhythmically satisfying melody. I think it's well structured in that regard. There's nice subtle contour while you still have a lot of rhythm going on, the contour still moves relatively slowly. It's not tons of intervallic leaps. It's kind of scalar-ish. One of the things that I really appreciate about this for Taylor Swift, usually when you listen to a Taylor Swift track, especially singles, it's like mainlining a fucking pixie stick directly into your veins. Just raw sugar, like way too much for my flavor. It gets really irritating. Like for me, I've accustomed myself to drinking mostly water. So if I drink soda, it's almost unpalatable. This production is way tamed in. I think maybe a little bit too tame, all things considered. It almost gets a little bleh. But I am really happy that Taylor can show some restraint as far as production and vision goes for something like this, as opposed to constantly trying to be like, even like people obsessed over her last album, Folklore. The writing was good, but people were trying to say, oh, she's going back to her folk roots. It's still a pop record, man. Like 1000%. An overproduced pop record. This to me feels more real than Folklore did by 1000%. The other thing I would say is I appreciate Taylor trying to have a certain level of self-awareness. The song is called Anti-Hero, basically saying, if everyone hates me, there's probably something wrong with me, or not hates me, but you know what I mean. I also like the line, I can stare directly into the sun, but never at the mirror, which is, I think, a beautiful self-aware piece of poetry. It's humbling, you know what I mean? And I can't put my finger on it, but there's still something here that doesn't feel 100% genuine to me. There's still something a little off with it. One of my friends said the thing that he finds a little off about it is it feels like the natural narrative for the PR that is Taylor Swift to have like the turnaround, the redemption, right? And it's just another arc in the story shown towards the public and is not necessarily anything genuine whatsoever. I mean, there's always that possibility. I don't know. Giving the best faith interpretation I can possible, it sounds like someone who is coming to this realization, but doesn't quite have the full emotional maturity yet to dig into the really ugly parts yet. The parts where the monster lies. She's at the gates, holding onto the bars, looking through and saying like, oh, fuck. Looks like there might be a monster in there. Either way, like I would rather listen to this than most other Taylor Swift things I can possibly think of. This is actually like, it's a little bland for my tastes as far as the production goes, but I don't think that's bad. That is a taste by taste thing. As It Was by Harry Styles. All right, let's take a listen.
Come on, Harry, we want to say goodnight to you.
Hey, it's Harry's fans. Instantly, come on, guys. Like, it's so obviously Take On Me. It's even the same goddamn key. This has a more dated, clearer, brighter production, whereas this one is a little more in the subdued, a little bit dull, a little warm, I guess, psych rock type of mixing type of thing.
Holding me back, gravity's holding me back.
And this melody by comparison sucks.
Walking away, I don't know what to say, I'll say it anyway.
Just realized this dude kind of looks like David Hasselhoff's younger brother. None is to say, saying me back. It's even using some of the similar notes from that original melody and somehow manages to be more bland.
I want you to hold out the palm of your hand. Why don't we leave it at that?
Like it's the same drum groove essentially, similar chord progression, just a weaker melody and a different production. I wouldn't be surprised if Aha sues Harry Styles, or on the flip side, if Harry Styles actually got a license to write this song from Aha in the first place. I remember when Taylor Swift did Look What You Made Me Do. Apparently, I believe if I remember, she paid up front for a license for I'm Too Sexy by Right Said Fred. Is that their name? She thought it was enough of a ripoff, for lack of a better term, to in advance be like, hey, I know what I'm doing here. Here's the legal shit to do that. I feel like this is way more blatant than that. And this absolutely would be some legal trouble if he didn't do something about it.
Nothing to say.
Other than my preferences in production, it's really well situated in the sound space. So it feels pretty bland to me though.
In this world, it's just us. You know it's not the same as it was.
In this world, na, na, na. Bland. So bland. I really like the da, 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 da. That's nice. That's got a nice little elegant to it, nice little kiss, you know. It's a really nice hook too, frankly. Now let's compare it to the chorus of Take On Me.
I've been coming for your love, okay? Take on me.
Back vocal. Not very elegant or complex, but what it's supposed to do is raise the emotions and the tensions as you go upwards and keeping it relatively neutral on the way up, supplemented by a vocal performance that's supposed to make you go, holy shit. Harry's withdrawn vocal style, I don't think would work with this melody, but it does work with his on his song for the most part. It is a fine chorus, not as good as Take On Me in my opinion, but it's just such a blatant ripoff. It's kind of annoying that it's even on the top 5. And it's just the safest, boringest, clouded production that, again, stylistically hits for what he wants to do, I guess, but I just have zero interest in listening to whatsoever. It's very comfy. I'll give him that. La Bachata by Manuel Turizo.
Te bloqueé de Insta, pero por otra cuenta veo tus historias.
So basically going 4, 5, 1, 6. It's like similar to the pop 4, but a little different.
Tu número lo borré. No sé pa' qué si me lo sé de memoria.
This melody is already very forgettable to me. Even Harry Styles' melody was more memorable than this one.
Hiciste daño, y así te extraño. Y aunque sé que un día te voy a olvidar, aún no lo hago.
The excessive tuning of his voice is kind of annoying too. Like, the guy sounds like he probably has a good enough voice. It doesn't need to be tuned that much. I'm assuming it's stylistic. Okay, he's from Colombia. Kind of looks like a bit of a douchebag, gotta say. 22 years old and a pop star. He is definitely a douchebag.
Es complicado, todo lo que hicimos me gusta recordar. Ando manejando por las calles que me besaste, oyendo las canciones que un día me dedicaste. Te diría que volvieras, pero eso no se pide. Mejor le pido a Dios.
Okay, this has a ton of tropes of Latin pop. It's got the little bell pad in the background that's very subtle. That's such a callback to the early 90s here in America. I find it slightly laughable, but it actually works nice in a modern context. I'll give them that. I like the sound of the bass and I like the bass movement. I think it's a cool bass line. However, I wouldn't say that's very trendy for American pop. It's one of those things I think American pop could utilize a lot more, frankly. It's a very matter-of-fact bass tone. There's not a ton of character or overtones to it, you know? But it works well considering how everything else is mixed. They got the kick drum exclusively on the quarter note, just pounding away. Still an incredibly forgettable melody. Like, I'm not gonna remember this melody at all. This is my second time listening to it, and I still am just like, No idea. No clue. Having had enough experience with something close to a Hispanic dance hall, this to me is like, okay, 1000% meant exclusively for dancing. No one's listening to this because they're like, I love a good sonic experience. They're listening to this because they want to move. Honestly, this is a DJ's wet dream. There is plenty to work with here that is probably easily filterable out and then supplementing into other stuff as well. I do really like the thump of the kick. They got that nailed in really nice, actually. Yeah, the rest of the auxiliary percussion out there is just like 1000%. We've heard it a million times in Hispanic dance music all the time. I actually don't mind the beat that much, the arrangement, the production of it. The thing that's most offensive to me is the vocals, and I guess most disappointing because that melody is completely throwaway. That's kind of fun rhythmically. Definitely seems like it's a little more hip hop forward as opposed to trying to be melody forward, which is fine, you know, not my style, but I mean, is what it is. I'm really happy I don't know Spanish very well anymore because I imagine these lyrics are probably fucking garbage. Also, I'm finding it really interesting that the songs on here are all below 3 minutes except for Taylor Swift. And even hers is only 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Just super quick bites. And lastly, All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey. Considering how old this song is, I'm shocked it only has 27 million plays. Unless that's just in the last, like, however long it's been. Okay, this makes more sense. It's almost 1.3 billion. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. So these numbers are for whatever time period they're doing the rankings in. That's fucking impressive. All right, we've put it off long enough. Here we go. Adorable, elegant.
I don't want a lot for Christmas.
So that already is giving you a little bit of the the merry little Christmas. It's already alluding to that a little bit, but it's not the same.
There is just one thing I need.
Beautiful vocal performance. Now getting a little soul in there. I do love this chord progression with that melody. So fucking satisfying. Na 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 na. When it hits that flat six, it's like super satisfying against those chords, especially in context of this being major scale.
Make my wish come true.
It's a wonderful melody. Just unbelievable. That fucking piano is so fake, it's great. Let's start with the basics. It is kick, snare, and I'm pretty sure it's kick and then kick, snare together so we can keep the low end pumping. If not, they definitely did something in the mix to give a lot of bottom to the snare that you're feeling. And then we have the boom, 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 just quarter notes on the bass, man. This is easy rock and roll, for lack of a better term. So we got that, just holding it down, real simple, and then this elegant draping of instrumentation on top of it. It's the little moments of like the bells or like the sleigh bell shit, and then when they decide to throw in the backing vocals while basically having the keys just do the same rhythm, basically going left to right really quickly. and keeping that relatively subdued in the mix so you're feeling it more than you're hearing it. Now it's just in the fucking right hand. And then the piano roll. It's a great way of segueing. I get people hate this song. I don't know why. Maybe because they're like, oh, I hear it all the time during Christmas time, can't get it out of my head. I guess I don't spend that much time shopping in general, so I've never had this problem. I feel like I listen to it maybe a handful of times throughout the entire Christmas season, maybe. And I've always thought it was a beautifully written song. Honestly, written better than it was performed, and it was still performed very well. But I mean, seeing it in the top 5, maybe a little surprising, even during the holidays. I would have expected top 10 at best, but it's at number 5. Like, oh, okay. Anyway, so those are my thoughts on the Spotify top 5. If you want to see my band Crusade in Florida, check the link in the description. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and I guess I will check you later. Peace, whatever. Bye. Mwah. See ya.
Stop it!